Welcome to Oasis Springs. But wait, where's the water? It was finally Opal's turn to leave the pods. However, her parents never imagined she'd choose dry land. But when a fisherman carelessly spoke of Oasis Springs and called it water's true paradise, Opal's imagination ran wild. After much convincing, her parents reluctantly agreed to it. Even though the only thing flowing here is desert heat, Opal is determined to make her land-bound dream work and prove a mermaid can thrive away from the ocean. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Wow, now why would I start off like that? Welcome back to another CAS video. And if you are new here, what took you so long to click on one of my videos? But anyway, don't come for me because it has been a minute since I last posted. I told y'all I was going to post her after I had post Candy, and so the thing was, I had her edited, like, you know, this video was edited, it was ready to go, I had the music ready, all that stuff. I took her screenshots. I just, for some reason, my brain just went somewhere else and I forgot to do the voiceover. Yeah. So that's what happened. But anyway, so let's get into Opal. Originally, I was going to name her Iridessa, but I have this thing about not using the same name twice. Yeah, sometimes I will use it just depending. I will use the same name twice, but I already have a sim named Iridessa and she's a witch, and I haven't really played around with her, and I want her to be like her own person, you know what I mean? But so I decided to pick Opal, and I felt like it was a pretty good choice for her, simply because of the fact of like the color choices that I had picked for her. It's very like purples and like greens and teal and all that stuff, and you know, Opal comes in like different colors and things like that. Yeah, so with Opal, as I said from her description, right, so she's finally leaving the mermaid pods and, you know, being able to explore the world. But her parents have always been very protective of Opal because she is very, I guess the word is impressionable. Like she is easily excited by a lot of things. Like everything she finds everything fascinating, right? Just the tiniest little thing she finds fascinating, right? And upon hearing about Oasis Springs from this random fisherman, and you know, being on the ocean for a long time, you can get a little delirious. You know, you start dragging out your words a little bit, and you start, you know, exaggerating just a tad bit, and calling you know, Oasis Springs, water's true paradise. Opal was like, hey, this is the perfect start for me to start over, because I have always wanted to live on land, but I wanted to find a way where my parents were also equally happy, and Oasis Springs has a bunch of water. So, right, so when she mentioned that she wanted to live on land, they were originally thinking that she was going to live in Tulani. But she's like, oh, no. Oasis Springs is like far beyond our ocean that we're at right now. And normally that would be fine because, you know, mermaids, they travel all over the oceans. They travel all over the world. But being on land, that's a different story for a mermaid. Right? So after Opal was like, please, can I go? Please, can I go? Please. They were fine. All right. You could go, but one wrong move and you're coming back. Right? So then Opal's excited. She's getting ready. She's like, this is perfect. There's water here, you know, that way my parents don't freak out. But then upon like coming, you know, taking that bus ride to Oasis Springs, all she's seeing is sand and dry desert. And then she's like, but where's the water? And now Opal is not a quitter, right? So she is going to do her best to make Oasis Springs her home and prove to her parents that she can and she will survive. So she hasn't told her parents not once about the fact that what Oasis Springs really is. And there's a few things here. There's a few references that I have with Opal. So the first reference is with the mermaid pods. I got that from Mako's, what was it, H2O, Mako's Mermaids, where they have like, you know, the mermaid pods and stuff like that, and they like go away and things. I thought that was cute, so I was like, let me use that. I like that. And then with Opal's story, I kind of got like the inspiration from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they were picking out like their little vacations on where they wanted to go. And they ended up going to the desert to see like this big gigantic thing of ice, because it was like an anomaly that just never went out. And they go, and there's just this little tiny thing of ice. So that's the kind of like the inspiration that I got to create her. When it also came to Opal as well, I never had a sim that had vitiligo. I think it's called vitiligo, right? Vitiligo. I remember before when I was younger, I used to call it something, and I didn't realize that I was saying it wrong, because I've heard other people pronounce it that way. So now I'm all confused, but I'm gonna find out. But anyway, so with Opal, she's my first sim that I have ever created that has vitiligo, because I was also, before I created her, like, you know, started on this video, I was playing around with the skin details for vitiligo and stuff, just to kind of like get like a feel and figure out what worked, and you know, what worked best for her, I guess you could. That sounds so horrible. That's not what I'm trying to say. I was just trying to see what screamed like, this is Opal when I look at her, right? And as I was creating her, I also had like this idea of what I wanted to do with her, where with her you know, with her having vitiligo, I was like thinking like, oh, she could have like a koi fish pattern. But for mermaids, we don't have that, and I'm a little upset because it would have been perfect. I was so bad. But anyway, and I don't really mess around with CC that much. I try to use like what I have in the game, because downloading a bunch of CC, that is too much. It's too much. The ones that be sitting there for hours, because I did that before with the hair, and I still don't know what happened to that file. One time I had to update the sim, and I update the sims, and I had to remove all of like my files and stuff like that, and I have no idea what happened to that hair file. I named it something and it's gone. I can't find it, and I just never went back to try to re-download any of those hairs. But yeah. But anyway, we're supposed to be talking about Opal. So with Opal as well, with her her traits and her likes and dislikes, you know, I kind of forgot what her traits were. I know one, I think it was supposed to be like cheerful, child of the ocean, and friendly, outgoing, one of those. I can't remember. We're gonna find out when it shows up. But with her likes and her dislikes, how I am working with Opal is I am seeing her as like a child first coming into the world, I guess you could say, even though she's a young adult. But for her, she is seeing the world with childlike wonder, right? And I want her herself, like her sim herself, to have her own, to be able to pick her own likes and dislikes, if that makes sense. So like if she doesn't like cooking, you know, I would say like, yeah, she doesn't like cooking, but that's fine. She might like baking instead, you know? And I thought that was like something that like, I think that was also cool for me to implement, because I do implement that with like toddlers and children, and sometimes, and well, like the teenagers, right? Especially if I don't have anything planned for them. And I don't really do that with adults. And I thought that was cool for me to be able to do that with her, where she can figure out what she likes on her own, because that's the whole point of her moving to Oasis Springs, is to figure out what she likes and doesn't like, and exploring Oasis Springs, the world, right? And also, I have not built her her house yet, but she is going to be living in like a trailer next to Johnny Zest. I just haven't gotten to that part of Oasis Springs yet. I have been working on Oasis Springs very, very slowly. But I'm trying to not, but I'm getting there. I am getting there. But yeah, so she's going to be living next door to Johnny, and Johnny is going to also help her, you know, with life and things like that. And I also want to say, like, with Opal, I do enjoy playing with occults. I know, like, not a lot of people enjoy playing with occults, but with me, ever since with The Sims 3, the first expansion pack that I've gotten was Supernaturals, and I love that pack so much. And I always love the cults, even outside of that, right? And yeah, so I don't mind mixing in occults into my worlds, because, like, you know, this is my save file that I'm making for me to be able to enjoy, and possibly maybe if I figure out how to do it, for other people to enjoy as well. But for the most part, you know, this is for something for me to enjoy. And that's also another thing that I wanted to talk about too, is another reason, I guess, why it's taking me so long to work on this save file. There's this one creator on TikTok that I watch. She does like a bunch of like anime stuff, more so about Nana, and her name is Shania Trotter. And with her, she also plays The Sims, or she's trying to get back into The Sims. And one thing that she said in a video like a few weeks ago was how she is trying to fall in love with the process of creating her save file. And that's the same place where I'm trying to be at, is falling in love with the process, because it is a lot, especially in The Sims 4, because there's so much variables that go into it, and I'm trying to fall in love with the process. And I hope you guys do too, you know, falling in love with the process on The Sims, you know, especially with The Sims 4, because it's so controversial, and, you know, there's a lot of things that a lot of people have complaints about, which is understandable, you know, but falling in love with what we have in the game right now, that's where I'm trying to be at, you know. But anyway, I'm over here talking about everything else but Opal. And also with Opal, when I was taking her pictures, she got pregnant. This is a whole another different save file that I use for taking pictures and just like experimenting and stuff like that. And yeah, so she got pregnant by a married man. You might know him. His name is Hakeem. He used to be on my channel. I don't post about them anymore. I might do like something with him or whatever. But yeah, he's the most loyalist man that you could ever meet on the face of the earth. And for some reason, him and Opal just got down and dirty while I was trying to wait for the sun to rise in the game. And I didn't even realize, like, I'm over here minding my business, and I didn't even realize that she was freaking woohooing, and then she got pregnant. She was having a girl. So yeah, whenever I go back into that save file, she's going to be pregnant, and I'm probably going to end up forgetting anyway. But will she be able to survive in the desert as a mermaid? We'll have to see, right? But Opal is not a quitter. She is determined to make this work, regardless of what it is, because again, she has basically no money. Just a very little bit of money that was given to her by her parents, that, because, you know, in the ocean, you don't really need money like that. You know, and of course having Johnny around helps a lot and kind of grounds her a little bit, because also, you know, Johnny isn't really in the best headspace, so Johnny being like her guide to life is probably not the greatest. Really thinking about it now, like, that's probably the worst person. Not necessarily the worst person, but, you know, financially, is that really the person you want to help you financially? Finding your joy in life, yes, Johnny is the one. But financially, yeah. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little rambles like I always do. And I am slowly but surely, like I said, I'm trying to fall in love with the process of The Sims, and not even just The Sims, but falling in love with the process of coming back into me creating videos again as well, because I miss it. I enjoy it. But anyway, so I'm going to end it here because I've been rambling on too much. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out when I post gameplay videos, you know, building CAS videos like this one, and any other random stuff that I be doing, because I'm always doing something random on this channel. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, bye guys. What the hell is wrong with me? Like, what is wrong with me genuinely? Like